Hmm. So that's your kid. High school dropouts kids really are unattractive. Huh. I unexpectedly ran into my beautiful former classmate Chloe at a fancy restaurant who used to bully me mercilessly during our school days. Chloe even started making sarcastic comments towards my daughter, May, such things as, "Children are ugly because their parents are only high school dropouts. How can you say that to an 11-year-old?" As I clenched my fist in anger, May said, "Hey Dad, why don't we get her fired?" Chloe burst out laughing at May's exasperated remark. "What? Kids of dropouts really are dumb. You think a little girl like you can fire me? This is what's wrong with clueless losers. Listen, there's a whole different world for low-lives like you and people like me. We're on completely separate paths, understand? Maybe I should shut that sassy mouth of yours." Just as I was about to step in to stop her, as she came at me, an angry middle-aged man appeared. Seeing him, Chloe's face turned pale. "My name is Ethan, born premature. I was often sick as a child and never really got to play outside. In the apartment complex where I lived with my parents, there were many kids around my age, but they didn't find it fun to play with me, as I would soon start coughing during tag or feel sick during hide and seek. You're no fun to play with, just stay away. Sick people should just stay in bed," they said. Initially, the older kids who were nice to me began to shun me, and soon the younger kids followed suit. Before I knew it, no one would even talk to me at the playground. My parents ran a small town workshop as a subcontractor for a major metal processing company. Busy with work and deadlines, they hardly ever came home. Morning or night, I spent my days alone at home, reading borrowed books, listening to the cheerful laughter outside the window. I always felt lonely, with a gaping hole in my heart. "Sorry, Ethan." My mother would apologize nonstop whenever she came home late from work. "We named you Ethan, hoping that just like the name, you'll be wise and skillful. That'll bring you success in life." I often stroked my mother's thin back as she cried, trying to hold back her overworked body, as worn out as mine. "Once you start going to school, you'll surely make good friends. Just a little more patience," holding on to that sliver of hope. I entered elementary school, like my mother said. I might be able to make friends too. At first, I seriously believed that. But being skinny and frail, I immediately stood out among my peers like a sore thumb. I was tall and thin, wearing loose hand-me-downs from relatives. My pencils and notebooks all mismatched and awkward leftovers from the factory. That kid's weird, like an alien just walking down the hall. I would hear endless whispers about me being malnourished and dirty. If I let my guard down, my shoes and gym clothes would end up in the trash, covered in dust from cleaning. I'd wash them off at the tab, quietly take them home in a plastic bag, humiliated and frustrated. I cried silently under the covers. How's school? Having fun. My father was a quiet man. He'd sometimes stay overnight at the factory during busy periods, often not coming home. However, when we meet face to face, he asks about how school is going. "Your dad had asthma too when he was younger. He's really worried about you," my mom would say. I didn't know that. "He always tells me not to tell you." Her eyes playfully shadowed with dark circles. Seeing her worn out from fatigue made my heart burn. Despite their own exhaustion, they always put my well-being first. I couldn't bear to let them know I was being bullied at school. And so, without seeking help from anyone, my lonely years of elementary and middle school ended. Then came spring, and with it high school. I secretly hoped the harassment would lessen in high school, but that hope was in vain, as the bullying intensified. Apparently, someone from my older school had spread rumors about me in the new class. Before I knew it, I was cruelly nicknamed Ebola. No matter how poor or badly dressed, did I really deserve to be targeted to this extent? The answer came quickly. The main culprit who was bullying me was a girl with an amazingly beautiful appearance. Her name was Chloe. Her father, the CEO of a major metal material manufacturer, ensured she always wore the latest fashion, and charmed everyone with her idol-like smile. But her true nature was terrifying, and even the head teacher couldn't stand up to her. Her parents also chaired the Parent-Teacher Association. She was at the very top of the school's social hierarchy. Being in the same class as her marked the beginning of my harrowing bullying journey. "Hey," she called out during the self-study session. I reflexively looked up to find Chloe at the desk, one way, contorting her beautiful face and pinching her nose in an exaggerated manner. "You smell something unclean in this classroom, especially over there." "Oh, it's Ebola." Of course, her shrill voice echoed, and her entourage chimed in. The classroom, previously abuzz, fell silent, all eyes on me. "Didn't you hear? She's saying the classroom smells like germs because of you, Ebola. It's a nuisance, so could you stop breathing?" "Ah, I'm sorry," I muttered, cowering under the stares and mockery. The classroom was like a gas chamber for me, enduring harsh words and false accusations. Apologizing until they were satisfied became my daily routine. Afraid of their stares, I walked with my head down and back hunched, but I kept going to school because of my parents. Both of them worked tirelessly, day and night, and if there were defective products or sudden deadline changes, they would be woken up even from a nap to handle complaints. Seeing my respected parents bow their heads to unreasonable demands was unbearable. I didn't want to be like that. If I, their son, lost my pride, I feared my beloved family's smiles would truly disappear. If I'm poor not only materialistically, but also spiritually, I would have nothing left. That's what I thought, but every time I apologized for giving in to her heartless words, her heart wore thinner and thinner. I began to suffer from insomnia, and my stomach ached every morning before school. My autonomic nervous system went haywire, and I fell seriously ill, leading to a long hospital stay. I felt guilty for using my health as an excuse to escape the bullying, but I had no other choice. I stopped going to school and gave up on the idea of college, instead starting to help with my parents' business. The factory desperately needed manpower. Starting with office work, I soon found myself carrying heavy loads and running around the premises until late at night, just like the other workers. I wanted to work hard and ease my family's burdens. Despite thinking like that, the harsh reality struck me hard. Being uneducated and naive as I was, the employees who I've known since the old days were warm like family, but even working myself to the brink of collapse, the monthly pay was minimal. With medical expenses, I even stopped going to the hospital. Thinking about the future made me anxious beyond words. I had neither education nor money to start anything new. After all, what was I going to achieve by studying now when I felt weak? The scornful faces of the kids from the apartment complex, Chloe, and my classmates would flash before my eyes, dragging along the chain like anxiety. I kept myself busy without thought. Then, while I was checking the deadline for the next product, a sudden tearing pain shot through my chest. Suddenly, I felt a tearing pain in my chest. My body lost its strength and fell to the floor. My chest, it hurt so much, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get any air, gasping for breath like a fish out of water. My mom screamed while holding me. "Someone please call an ambulance quickly." The diagnosis was pneumothorax due to overwork resulting from lack of sleep and hard labor late into the night. I had to undergo emergency surgery and was hospitalized. The doctor ordered a week's stay at the hospital. "You should take better care of your body," the family doctor I met for the first time in a while spoke with anger in his voice. I could see a few gray hairs on his receding hairline, indicating the time that had passed since my last hospitalization. His stern guidance was as fearsome as ever, but now I could feel the kindness behind it. After the morning checkup, I found myself in the hospital's courtyard. Next to the flower bed was a small bench that had been my favorite ever since I was a regular patient here as a kid. Despite being past noon, the courtyard was nearly empty, with just a book left on the bench. Someone must have forgotten it. As I opened the book to check the name, a familiar title caught my eye. It was a children's book I had read before. "You can borrow it if you want to read it. It's for kids, but it's quite interesting," said a crisp voice behind me. Turning around, I saw a young woman in a medical cap and hospital gown. That was how I met my future wife, Sophia. 2 years older than me, Sophia had always been frail and found friends in books since her childhood. She was always seen with a different book each time we met. She said she remembered almost everything she read, so she preferred borrowing books to buying them. Her biggest problem, she said, was that the hospital library had run out of new books for her. Sophia's changing expressions easily didn't look frail at all. Except for a hospital gown, she was knowledgeable, quick-witted, and never bragged about it, which I found very attractive. According to the nurses, her cheerful nature made her like a beacon of light for the long-term patients, both young and old. "Well, so you're working at your parents' factory now, Ethan?" "Yeah, I didn't get to go to school. All work and no study at the factory." "So you mean you wish you had all the time?" "I have." No, I didn't mean." She gave her refreshing smile as I stumbled over my words. "Just kidding. Sorry. But I can kind of tell, you have that look of someone who wants to change but doesn't know how." Her honesty about my hidden fear made me break out in a cold sweat. That's quite perceptive. Well, when you're here for a long time, you kind of get it. Everyone's struggling with something. A cool breeze swept through the courtyard. She looked seriously at the swaying flowers in the flower bed. Living is my job." "Living is your job?" "Yeah, to breathe as long as possible, to act cheerful every day, and to not worry my family." "Sophia, you too have something you were born to do, something that makes you feel. This is why I'm here, really. Yeah, after all, birds have the sky to fly in and fish have the ocean to swim in." "True, and you have your own path meant just for you. It might not seem like it now, but it's there. On the day of my discharge, I never thought I'd be the one to leave first." Sophia's expression was bright as she loaded her bags into the taxi. She looked so much better in a fresh blue dress, much more than the pale blue hospital gown. "I have other chronic conditions, so after a brief exchange, she said, I'm going back to college to catch up on my studies. It might take a while, but I've decided to see it through. What about you? Found something you want to do?" Her earnest eyes pressed me to share my true feelings. "Honestly, I'm still not sure. I never really thought about what I wanted to do." As a moment of parting approached, words seemed to fail me, but there was something I desperately wanted to tell her. If I miss this moment, I will regret it till the day I die. It was the first time in my life that I felt that way. "Sophia, if there is a road for me and it really leads to anywhere, to a place of freedom, I want to walk next to you." When I finally finished my sentence and looked up at her, Sophia's eyes widened at me, and she looked like she couldn't believe it. "Why?" "I'm sick, and maybe it won't be long." "That's the same for me. You said there's always a way, so you have to take responsibility." "Responsibility? Huh. You've started saying that too." "Yeah, I think I've become like you." "That's nice to hear. Okay then, let's start as friends, please." Her hand gently clasped mine, with tears in her eyes and a smile like blooming flowers. Sophia laughed. That was the moment my life began to gain meaning. The first thing I did after being discharged was to thank my parents and everyone at the factory. They had all worked tirelessly to keep the factory running in my absence. A colleague sent messages to cheer me up whenever he found time. Another one brought my favorite snacks. I had been blind to the warmth in everyone's hearts, too busy wallowing in my own situation. I had to express my gratitude for their constant support. And I told them about the dream I had found during my hospital stay. Meeting Sophia gave me a dream. It might sound silly, but I finally found a path I wanted to pursue. I didn't care if anyone laughed. But as I spoke, not a single person did. Isn't this the first time? The first time you said you wanted to do something on your own. If there's anything you can do, just say it. We're like family now, right? With the understanding of my parents and coworkers, I decided to take the GED test. Whenever I had spare time, I studied and asked Sophia to teach me on scheduled days. When I didn't understand something, when I couldn't avoid working overtime, and it was almost time to leave, my colleagues encouraged me. You should go now. Today's your study day, right? Since the day I found my goal, I haven't had a single day to waste. Sophia's illness was still a constant battle of advances and setbacks. After pausing the exam, I immediately started studying for college admission. Honestly, this was the hardest part of my studies. I sought advice from those around me and desperately searched for an affordable yet good university. During this time, I encountered unfamiliar words, formulas, and diagrams, feeling nauseous with the overwhelming information. I diligently crammed everything from the basics to advanced concepts into my brain, and what is the result of forgetting to eat and sleep and study hard? Amazingly, I passed. I never fully attended school, so I thought I might have to take a gap year. I rushed to the factory where my parents were forgetting to even turn off my computer screen. To my surprise, all the employees had gathered at the factory even though it was their day off. In the break room, there was a feast that looked like my mother and Sophia had prepared it. I never expected everyone to celebrate for me. Thank you all so much for doing this for me. Don't worry about money. You'll pay us back with our future earnings. Just keep giving it your best shot from tomorrow, they said, patting me on the back vigorously. The photo of me with a tear-streaked face has become a cherished memory. Then came September, and I became a long-awaited freshman in college. Sophia became a new mom and I a new dad. The ceremony was not held because Sophia didn't want to. This was because that would be a physical burden on her, and she also told me, if you have that much free time, study throughout my college years. I was so immersed in studying that I could only afford a modest ring for Sophia. Despite that, Sophia gave me an irreplaceable gift. After a difficult pregnancy and morning sickness, our beautiful daughter May, who looked just like Sophia, was born. We named her after the month Sophia and I met. Juggling studies and parenting was chaotic, but we managed with the help of my family back home. I would rock May to sleep while reading textbooks and often fell asleep beside her. There were countless times I cried along with her, not knowing why she was crying. Even after graduating and starting my dream job, there was no time to rest. Most of what I studied hardly applied to my job. No matter how much I studied in theory, the practical aspects were entirely different. It was a daily reminder that I was starting from scratch. When I returned home late at night, I would see my wife and daughter holding hands, sleeping. Their innocent faces would instantly wash away the day's fatigue. Laying my hand over theirs, I cherished our happiness. However, these happy days didn't last long. One day, coming home early for the first time in a while, I carried my exhausted sleeping daughter to bed. As we sat drinking tea together, Sophia said, "I have to be hospitalized again the day after tomorrow. My mom will come from our hometown to help. I'm sorry, but please take care of everything else." "Wait, you mean again?" I said. "Yes, the tumor has grown. I've been having severe headaches. When I went for a checkup, they said I need to be hospitalized immediately." "That's serious. Why didn't you tell me?" "I'll take a leave of absence first thing tomorrow morning. I'll go to the doctor with you." "Stop it," Sophia, in an unusually low voice, said something I hadn't heard from her before. "Don't underestimate me. How many years do you think I've been dealing with this illness? Remember what you told me when we first met, Ethan? What's my job? To live. You taught me that, right? So, I'll be fine. You take care of May," saying that Sophia, ever so strong, left without showing any weakness. She began her battle with the illness again, and I left most of the household duties to my mother, who came over to help. My irregular shift work meant I hardly ever saw them at home. I rarely finished work on time, and even on my days off, I was often called in. As soon as I sat down on the sofa at home, I would realize just how exhausted I was. Instant ramen has become a staple for me. After returning home, I didn't care about the flavor. I bought the same brand in bulk out of habit, a life of eating and then falling asleep. My wife would have scolded me for seeing the remains of discarded noodles. May, now in 5th grade, started preparing meals for me. Her gently flavored omelets reminded me of the taste of Sophia's cooking, which I hadn't had in a long time. May, you're really good at cooking. I can only keep going because of you, I told her. One day, as I was praising her cooking as usual, tears streamed down May's face. What are you saying, Dad? If you collapse, I'll be all alone at home. That's why I want you to get some nutrition. Please don't push yourself too hard, she said, holding on to me tightly. I realized the truth in her words. Indeed, looking at myself in the mirror after a shower, I was gaunt and pale, a sight that would worry anyone. Remember, breathe as long as you can, act cheerful every day, and don't worry the family. My wife's cheerful voice from when we first met echoed in my mind. Right, I had decided to protect them. I'm sorry for worrying you, but it's okay. Mom and Dad will never leave you alone. I hugged May, crying, and vowed once again to protect my precious family. When I finally had some free time, I took May to a fancy restaurant. Actually, I was there for a business meeting, but it ended quickly, so we just enjoyed the meal. Even though we were more comfortable financially than before, formal settings were still unfamiliar to us. The served dishes, as reputed, were delicate and beautiful from the appetizers onwards, making May and I exchange smiles. If you eat such wonderful food, you might not want to eat at home anymore, huh, Dad? May said. No way. The food at home is the best for me, I replied. We had just left the restaurant, enjoying our blissful time when it happened. Oh my, I thought I recognized you. Aren't you Ethan? Suddenly, a shrill voice echoed through the quiet night street. Looking over, I saw the woman we had seen in the restaurant earlier, pointing and shouting at us. Even in the light, her strong-willed beauty was unmistakable, and I felt the blood drain from my body. There's no way I can forget it. Ebola. It was the humiliating name I was given back in middle school. You're dirty and unclean. Ebola suits you just fine, right? Everyone agrees, don't they? I remember the days of enduring, looked down upon by Chloe and her classmates, smirking maliciously. Even after all these years, her despicable beauty hadn't changed. In fact, her disdainful expression seemed even more intense. On the contrary, the look on his face that looks down on people seems even more powerful. Chloe and her group had already finished their meal and seemed to have dispersed, so it was a relief that there were no people around. A tipsy Chloe now turned her gaze rudely towards my daughter, standing next to me. So that's your kid. High school dropouts kids really are unattractive, huh? May, standing beside me, faced Chloe, who was about my age, without any sign of fear. Hey, what's with the attitude towards my dad? Why are you so rude? What? I'm just stating the fact that he's a dropout. The one lacking education is you, ma'am. Ma'am, I can't believe this. What a cheeky brat. Dropouts really don't have any manners. Disgusting. May's face went blank at Chloe's harsh words that sent chills down my spine. It was eerie how my quiet daughter seemed more frightening than the furious Chloe. Aren't you from CNN? Wait, how does someone like you know about me? Chloe, taken aback, listened as May continued. I often see you on CNN. You post a lot, right? May pulled out her phone and opened the CNX app. Chloe was indeed frequently featured. Oh, that. I'm in charge of public relations at CNN. I stand out because I work at a company far removed from dropouts like you. Jealous, aren't you? Chloe seemed eager to brag about her workplace. Her eyes lit up at the mention of CNN. Hey, Dad, why don't we get her fired? I don't want to deal with a company that has such a woman. Chloe laughed at May's exasperated comment. Pah, what a stupid kid. Thinking like a brat like you can get me fired. This is why I can't stand clueless losers. Listen, someone at the bottom like you and someone like me live in different worlds. We're on completely separate paths. Get it? Huh. I don't get it because you're dumb and mean. Just because you have money and education doesn't mean you can say anything you want. Hey, May. May. Furious, May was relentless against Chloe, her pride wounded. That pissed, insolent brat. I should shut your mouth. Just as I was about to intervene, a well-dressed older man appeared. What's going on here? Chloe's eyes widened in shock. Mr. President. May quickly stepped forward. We were just having dinner with your company's president. Chloe looked back and forth between us and the president. That's not true, right? You're mistaken. This young lady here is May from the children's balanced cooking class. Chloe stood dumbfounded at the president's words. Wait, May as in the famous children's balanced cooking class? May smiled sweetly in front of the stunned Chloe. May had become known as May from the children's balanced cooking class during my wife's illness. May had cooked for me and shared the photos on social media. Her nutrition-based cooking had become a hot topic, and she is now a very popular children's cooking expert with 2 million followers. Easy cooking made with love for busy parents who tend to be nutritionally unbalanced. Her unique theme resonated with young people and housewives who eagerly replicated her recipes. She's well known just by her handle, May, even without showing her face for privacy reasons. She doesn't reveal her face, but the value of the name May has spread so much in New York that just saying May is enough for people to know who that. Wait, so if you're May, then her father is? Yeah, I studied and became a doctor after all. May's profile included my occupation, so it wasn't surprising she knew. To be honest, I'm still amazed at myself. From being treated as a germ, I became a doctor, helping others. And I specialize in neurosurgery. Every day is tough, keeping up with the latest medical knowledge, but I'm doing it all to cure my beloved wife, Sophia. The matter earlier, please consider our request, the president said, shaking our hands. He had come to offer us the documentary featured by CNN. We declined the offer, May firmly responding to the request we had left pending at the moment. Why would we deal with a company where someone like her insults my dad? She called him a dropout germ. I don't want to work with a company that allows someone to disrespect my respected father. What? That's a lie. Shut up. Got proof? Show it? I'll sue you for defamation. May then pulled out her phone. I've been recording your insults. Maybe I should share this on my TikTok. Chloe, though looking furious, couldn't intimidate May at all. True to Sophia's spirit, Chloe's face turned pale. Wait, you're paler than before. You've got some skin issues. Better get some vitamin A from broccoli and carrots. Want me to send you a recipe? I'll DM you. Chloe collapsed to the ground, defeated. Ethan, I apologize for the distress we've caused. We'll deal with Chloe appropriately. Please reconsider the documentary. Avery looked desperately at him, but he silenced her with a sharp reprimand, leading the matter to Avery. I finally walked away with May towards our home. In the end, we politely refused CNN's offer. Even if it wasn't for Chloe, I think she would still have refused that interview. Sophia is still battling illness, and the most important thing to me is Sophia. May and the family around me. Still, if our family's journey can support someone else, that would be wonderful. Thankfully, Sophia's condition is improving. We may be able to live together as a family of 3 again soon. Later, the incident Chloe caused at the TV station became a significant issue internally. She ruined the opportunity for a documentary with the famous May, which the president himself had requested. Chloe was demoted to a subsidiary company and eventually left due to spreading rumors. Looking back, my long history of being bullied may have been the prologue to meeting my beloved family. What's important is cherishing the people right in front of you, breathing as long as possible, and acting happily every day. And don't worry about your family. Sophia taught me these valuable lessons. Keeping them in mind, I believe we can overcome anything in the future. If Dad hadn't dropped out of school, maybe life would have been different, May mused on the way home. Do you regret our life now? Her furrowed brow and tearful face were endearing. Someday, if I have to do an interview somewhere, if anyone in the world asked me this question, I would answer with pride and a smile on my face. Even if I could choose again, I'd still become a dropout because I know that path leads me straight to Sophia and May.